what's going on, YouTube? My name's Dom. This is the Completing the Circuit podcast. This is episode 5. My name's Dom, as I said before, and today we got obviously Joey, our usual, and we got the new guy Sam,
back again,
who finally said something into the microphone this time when I introduced him. Because last time you just looked at the camera, so any of our listening audiences would just heard a blank.
I fist pumped. It's audible in and of itself.
He did do a fist bump. So last week we did Xbox, and that was a huge thing, and we all kind of felt the same. This week we're doing the smart home devices and building a better smart home and all that good stuff. So before we get into all that, we're going to do news of the week. So what you guys got for me? What's your topics? Sam?
I'm going to be talking about the GMC Hummer, the new electric Hummer that's coming out.
Okay.
So apparently yesterday, General Motors, GMC, released a little bit of a clip to kind of promo their new truck that's coming out. It was supposed to come out in May. You know, this little teaser. They came out with it yesterday, and this thing looks interesting to say the least. I mean, King James.
You got a link for me?
Narrated the
what's it called, 2020 Hummer, electric Hummer?
Yeah, 2020 GMC Hummer.
Let me look that up so you have a screen cap for the audience. Let's see. Introducing the first ever GMC Hummer EV.
I'm on the electrek.com website because it kind of irons out all the different features that they captured in their promo video.
Okay. I think they have the video on there because on gmc.com, that's like the main thing that they're showing right here. Wow.
Yeah.
11,500 pound-feet of torque.
How about the 0 to 60 acceleration in 3 seconds?
That's already ridiculous.
That's a Hummer.
That's a lot.
I mean, the modular sky panels sounds.
And then here we got LeBron James.
King James
is right here. That's what you meant when you said King James. Okay.
King James.
That's funny.
I just think this is going to be really interesting because you take one of the most iconic, trucks of our time and, the generation before us, that gas guzzler that gets like 3 miles to the gallon, and you're now making it electric with a battery that somehow rivals, if not beat out, the Tesla battery.
That's interesting.
And you're putting it into a truck of this size. The one thing that really got me on the video was they boasted about a crab mode.
What is crab mode?
They didn't explain anything about it.
Does it go sideways?
I'm thinking it goes sideways to help it park.
But like a decade ago, they had that. It was at an auto show. They had a Hummer where the wheels went sideways, and it can do a 360 in one spot.
Yeah.
Okay,
parking,
that should be cool.
Off-roading.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't have to do a transmissions and axles and stuff like you do with a traditional car. It should be easy to implement that. That's pretty cool.
It's going to be interesting to see. And they haven't really released anything. It's all speculation right now.
Okay.
They also have an adrenaline mode.
Okay.
Which, I mean...
We'll have to include all that into the EV episode if we talk about
I mean, those two features and the open air infinity roof, I'm excited to see about.
Okay, that should be pretty good.
So,
Joey, what you got for me?
A couple things. Actually, one thing I do for the first thing is about Razer.
The gaming peripheral company?
I'm sorry, what was it?
The gaming peripheral company?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I have here is Razer's updating their Black Shark headset with THX spatula audio.
Did you say Black Shark headset?
Black Shark?
Oh, Shark. Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify.
Moving on.
Keep going.
Yeah. So they're doing that. They have right now with their first release is their Black Shark gaming headset.
Thank you.
Back in 2012. Now has 2 new models.
Okay.
So that will be the Black Shark V2 and the entry level Black Shark V2X, which is both available today.
Okay. How much are they?
So the Black Shark V2X is $59.99.
Okay.
Which includes the Razer's Triforce 50mm drivers, an upgrade from the previous versions.
Okay.
Which were 40mm drivers.
Okay.
7.1 surround sound. The original model had stereo sound. It has 3.5mm jacks. Razer's hyper clear cardio mic, advanced passive noise cancellation, and memory foam ear cushions.
Okay.
So for $60, that's pretty nice.
Oh, these look cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that website. Razer has a really cool website. That's pretty cool. These are nice.
So, and then you got the Black The Black Shark V2 is souped up version of that model. It has a titanium coated 50mm drivers that deliver THX spatial audio with
Yeah.
added vocal clarity, ultra soft ear cushions, and removable versions of the same mic. You can also connect it to a USB sound card, and you'll have what Razer describes as advanced audio and mic controls.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So that's okay. So this looks like it's aimed at like the competition scene, the Fortnite players.
Yeah, and affordable because
Yeah, this price isn't bad.
no, it looks like yeah. So it's released. They also announced, as I was saying, released THX game profiles via Razer Synapse,
Mhm.
which I know you know about.
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
On August 6th. And the profiles are customized for specific games, which each title's developer will be certifying them.
Okay.
They allow the players to enjoy developed games that were meant to be sounded in the original way than
Mhm.
what we are hearing them now.
Okay.
And the software is only compatible with the $99 or $100 Black Shark V2. So the V2s are $100, which isn't bad either.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. Yeah, I saw that price. That's pretty cool. So yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I'm glad to see Razer still doing stuff. I feel like it's been a while since. Well, mind you, I haven't done PC gaming in a long time, so I feel like it's
Yeah.
been a while since I've really paid attention to what they got
So
going.
that was from Engadget by Chris Holt, and you can follow them at Chris Holt on Twitter. Then I also have here Tesla is being under investigate. Their Model 3 is under investigation in South Korea.
For what?
Well, it's focusing on their brakes and steering, including the autopilot system. So
Okay.
Tesla's sales have surged lately.
Mm-hmm.
But in especially South Korea, there's a lot of sales going on with Tesla out there, which I didn't even didn't know about. But yeah, they're saying that the brakes and their steering, their autopilot's always been an iffy situation. But they're just launching the safety probe into Tesla, focusing on that.
Okay.
And then also I found out that, excuse me, today as well, and I don't know how long this lasts, but Amazon actually knocked off $200 on the latest 13-inch MacBook Pro.
200?
200.
Wow. You know, I've been buying more and more Apple products from Amazon because it seems like they have deals on this stuff, and it's new. It's not like a refurb or anything like that.
No, and it's the latest one. So, if you've been people have been holding out, Amazon has both the 512 gig and terabyte models for the 2020 13-inch MacBook Pro for $200 off right now. So, dropping their prices, you're looking at $1,600 and $1,800 dollars.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
For each model.
Okay.
So the terabyte's only $1,800 and then
Good.
$1,600 for the 512.
All right. So if you're listening out there and you want to get a new MacBook, yeah, I guess Bezos. I didn't even think about that. It's Bezos again. It's every time. You know what? I don't want to get into it. So we had a couple. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't know if everyone knows about this either. In the same article, the MacBook Air is on sale also for $899.
Oh, that's a good price. Those have been incredibly popular. More and more people are buying MacBook Airs. It's a good. I mean, the build quality, and then it's a good laptop. It lasts for a long time.
Yeah, and I did have a thing about Tim Cook with Apple about the Congress thing, but
yeah, you know, I want to get into that. We might have to get into that one next week because I still have to. So more on the Twitter hack, because I know we were talking about we're going to follow that more on, was it 3? Whenever we had Kyle with us. So apparently right now the FBI is investigating that whole thing. So a lot of people were wondering why is it that Trump's account didn't get hacked, and that basically had to do with an incident where an employee a few years ago got fired, and right before he got fired, he tried deleting Trump's account. So they managed to recover. So for like 13 minutes, the world seemed to be normal because there was no crazy tweets coming out. So they ended up recovering his account. And they put the special security layer on his particular account. So whatever these guys did, and apparently had to do with like an internal tool that they used. So there's a bunch of things going around, but they believe that they had an inside connection to a tool that they use for debugging and administration and stuff like that onto different Twitter accounts. And they used that tool with their connection with whoever they got inside to gain access. Because this was, I mean, these people had like 2-factor authentication, secure passwords. I mean, you know, I doubt that Bezos is managing his own passwords. I mean, guy made $13 billion in a day. Like we talked about the other, I doubt he's made, you know what I'm saying? So that's the update on that one. But then I got one that's fun. So last week we did the Xbox game showcase, right? And we all seem to have the same thoughts, like I said earlier. I found out this week that the Halo Infinite demo, the only thing that really showed gameplay for the most part that we talked about, at most, was run on a freaking PC. Now, people all over the place are saying good things, saying, nah, it's not a big deal. Oh, this is a big deal. Apparently I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Because that just made me go, wait, you're telling me they don't even have the thing running on their own in-house console? Their own in-house game running on their own in-house console? They're running it on their own in-house operating system?
Just, I think it goes to show how much that episode last Thursday was, just kind of poorly put together. I mean, it's
You mean their show?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Xbox showcase. I don't know. I kind of feel cheated.
Yeah.
You're not even looking at, they're trying to rave about the new Xbox console, but in reality, what you just saw was something on a computer, not really what the Xbox console is going to be doing.
Right. And it's funny. So obviously games get developed on PCs right now more than, I mean, they've always been, but you can debug and you can run the game. You run the game on like a debug unit. You run the game on the actual computer, on the computer itself. But it's just, I don't know. That just seems like that with all the other negative press that they had, that just seems like a bad move by Microsoft. So I don't know. We'll see.
Have you guys seen, talking about that, have you guys seen the meme for Halo?
What's the meme?
Well, they found a character, and
Is it Sergeant whatever his name is that Sam was talking about?
No,
Man, he's my
no.
guy.
I'm actually gonna make sure I can get this in the frame here.
Mm-hmm.
They Halo Infinite's Craig the Brute is a species spiciest meme right now, and as you can see, and I'll let you guys see it though.
Mm-hmm.
They
What is it? Halo Infinite's Craig the Brute is that the Thanos guy.
Yeah, but so they had this. They had that out because of he's the only weird looking one.
Yeah.
So people are just making memes out of it left and right, saying they're wondering if they're gonna keep that and upgrade all the rest of the aliens or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're just making fun of it because of how poorly this looks.
Oh my god. That. Well, I think they're. So, are they doing another one next month? Do we know if they're doing another showcase next month? PlayStation 5 is rumored to get announced, by the way. So, the little side note, I totally just got this off the top of my head. August 5th, apparently there's another Sony event, and that's when they're going to announce the price and possibly start the pre-orders. So, if you're listening out there, be on the lookout for August 5th. Let me see if I can even find that. It doesn't really matter. Just be on the lookout on Tech News for gaming for PlayStation 5 to see, because if the pre-orders go that day, you know what? No, don't do that. It's actually August 6th. Right. No, that's when the real pre-orders are. We don't want to, we just want to make sure that everyone gets theirs, right? Including us. So.
Yeah, really? We're a new channel and we're already going to tell our viewers to wrong dates.
I mean,
just for our selfish needs.
We're a new channel. We got to get our hands on one to review one, right?
I'm just saying.
Well, either way, so I think so. Hopefully that'll go well. We may end up talking about that one next week, depending on how that goes, or we'll work our way to what next week's episode is about. But this one is per Sam's suggestion. Smart home devices, making a smarter smart home. That didn't make any sense. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and let Sam, you're relatively new to the smart home scene.
Yeah, purchased my first house in March. First thing on my mind was, how do I get this to be a little bit more convenient and cost conscious?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that came up on just about every search was the Google Nest.
Mm-hmm.
There was tons of information as to how much money can be saved. I get an email every month now
From ComEd?
From either ComEd or Google saying, hey, this many of millions of dollars has been saved across.
I've seen this.
I mean, it's crazy. And I think our electricity bill alone is about half of what we expected, because we're able to control our entire, heating, cooling, air, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
from a distance. We're able to turn it on, before we go home, we're able to turn it off before we leave and put it on like an eco mode where we've got safety temperatures
Right.
and whatnot, and it's really nice. So that was really where I thought there's a lot of misconceptions about smart homes. I know I've heard them. I think there's a lot of fear and maybe stigma about, is it hard to assemble? Is it going to be too expensive? And yeah, there's some big price tags on a lot of things, but I think eventually, if you look at it as long-term savings, you're really going to end up making money off of transitioning your home over to something smart.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Just being able to control your lights on and off.
Yeah.
Just for remotely. The thermostat thing, being able to control your heating and cooling. You pay now to pay less later.
Absolutely.
The biggest concern I know a lot of people have is who's listening to me.
There was a lot of reports. Was it Ring? Who was it? Like a couple months ago, or maybe it was even last year. Ring. There was people had cameras. It wasn't. It doesn't matter which company it was, but yeah. So there's a bunch of footage online of like children in their rooms.
Yeah.
These people uploading their security footage of like some dude talking to their kid.
Yeah.
That is a scary thought, especially when you live this is an apartment here.
Right.
And obviously more people means more likely you're going to get seen. So
I just tell people, I had a discussion with someone at Best Buy when I actually bought my Google Home stuff. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't do this because I don't trust, people listen to me. I'm like, it doesn't matter if you have a Google Home, you have a phone, right? They listen to you. They can listen to you on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, whatever you have technology wise, it ain't gonna be safe. It's not private.
And you know what? What are you doing that's so freaking private?
Exactly.
If somebody wants to see me walk around here with no towel on, then let them see that. Like I'm not doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand if you're like a celebrity, you're Scarlett Johansson or someone, right? That's something you're gonna.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of money to be made there.
Shout out Scarlett Johansson.
That's right. Please listen. Please subscribe. That would be talk about us in your Avengers movie.
Now, I mean, the one thing that does creep me out, in what you're talking about, Joey, and I don't know if you've experienced this, is those like eerily specific Facebook ads after you've been talking about something, a week ago, and all of a sudden, you're talking about longboarding on, Pacific Beach, and then all of a sudden you have an ad on your Facebook that says, why don't you want to go longboarding on Pacific Beach?
Yeah.
Like try Priceline. Have you ever had any run-in with something like that?
Yes, I have. But again, it's one of those things is when you don't know what it's coming from. You know what I mean? You don't know if it's from your smart home. You don't know what your phone even, if it's listening to while you even have it just stand by. You don't know.
So I actually just recently got into a conversation with someone about this particular thing because he was talking to someone and he was talking about a red dress, and the next day an ad for a red dress on Facebook popped up. Yeah. And we got to this long-term thing about the way that these systems work. He's like, I've never looked up anything with a red dress before. Like I look up cars and I look up whatever other stuff he looks up, and that's just never something he searched for. So long story short, we ended up getting into a bit of a debate about it because he was convinced that his phone was listening. So there's a bunch of research firms that investigated this phenomenon because there's people talking about it. So obviously, if you have a device, can't tell Google or Facebook or anything if it doesn't have a wireless connection. So that was number one. So the first thing was to isolate all the wireless connections from the device and see if I'm going to talk about this, if I'm going to say this, if I'm going to do this, what is the phone doing? And there's plenty of ways to test that. So what they found was it's not. So then people are now asking, okay, well, if that's the case, for those who believe that, if that's the case, then how is this happening? Well, coincidences do happen from time to time. And you got to think to yourself, how many times have you been talking about something and then it not showed up on Facebook? Like we're talking about podcasts right now, and I don't see any ads for podcasts. And I'm not even searching for podcast stuff.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah. What you got?
Today I got a thing actually saying, do a podcast class for $45.
I mean, you've been looking up podcast. I mean, it's you
know what I mean?
Yeah,
no, it was
interesting.
It's coincidence.
It's funny you say. Yeah, it's funny you say that. So the thing that's interesting with the way that Google and stuff works is this, and I don't want to. There's a huge technical part of this. We're talking about smart home devices, but this is an interesting talking point. Neural networks have become incredibly good at figuring out patterns in people's behavior. So next August, a neural network will probably figure out what mood you're going to be in. Are they that sophisticated yet? I don't know. But every single time you're scrolling down Facebook, when you stop, that action's recorded. And they're looking at what you stopped, what time it was, who you know, what they're doing. And it's this big correlation of networks. And there's a huge issue with that being used for political stuff. And That's not related to smart home, but it's an interesting thing when you talk about security. People are engaging in Facebook and stuff like that, but they're scared of a camera. It's like, I could find way more out about you by going into your computer than your home camera is ever going to tell me.
Oh, you don't want to see my home camera.
No, I don't. I don't know why I looked at you.
My
I should have
weekends
looked
are
at
mine.
Joey.
You don't want to look at mine either.
Your weekends are yours. Oh my God. Okay. So I don't know. I don't even want to know.
The only reason I brought this was bringing this up is because
Sorry to go off topic there a little bit. I didn't mean to get too deep into that.
the only reason I brought it up is because I know it's a lot of people's fears, and I want to spread awareness that you don't need to be afraid.
Right.
There's a lot more things that are worse than that to be afraid of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So if you're not a person that's doing bad things or you're not committing crimes, what do you, like you said,
Yeah.
what are you afraid of?
And no one's going to be looking. They're looking for people. If you're going to hack into someone, you're either weird, obsessed, or you're trying to get money. I mean, most computer crimes are done because they're trying to blackmail your machine. Like, oh, the FBI has seized your computer, right? It's all a financial thing.
Right. No, smart home things are it's the way, it's here now
Mhm.
and it's going to stay and it's only going to
Yeah.
evolve.
Internet of Things is a huge place.
Honestly, if I had to trust, if I go, okay, like you were saying, you have Google Home, right?
Yes.
I have Google Home. Do you have I don't remember. Do you have the security?
I do have the. I think it's called the Nest Defend.
Nest Alarm?
Or
Or is it the alarm or is it Defend?
I think it's the Nest Defend.
Is it Nest Defend?
Yeah.
Keep going.
So yeah, I have the Nest Defend. We're looking at getting the door lock for the front door. We've got the Nest Hub Max set up, which has a camera that records while we're not home. We do have a one of the Nest cameras that came with like the home security kit. Then I think we've got about 4 or 5 of the breakaway detection modules that you put on doors or on windows or whatnot. And then I think we've got one of the little Nest Minis in every room of the house, just for music to broadcast to people upstairs. We're pretty submersive in the Google Home right now, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah. The Nest stuff is phenomenal. I've been using Nest for, oh my God, when did I get all my Nest cams and stuff? 2017, I think, is when I started. As soon as I got my Alexas.
Basically, when you first moved in here.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't too long after. So it was like a mid 2017. The Nest stuff is absolutely phenomenal. Like, it's pricey, and it is, but the irony is that the people that made Nest are ex-engineers from Apple. Yeah. Which I just found to be the most, because it has an Apple-like feel to it in simplicity. You just bust out the app, aim it at the device, put it in, you're done. And it's got all these little different nuanced things that just makes it really easy to use, and it just feels quality, and it seems secure at least.
So I have a security system at my house, and it's called Vivint.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you the truth, I would rather have the Google security over Vivint. I'd rather have Google security over ADT. Basically, any kind of security system out there, I'd rather have Google. Why? Mm-hmm. Because what happens is when you do sign up for them, they'll say, oh, you can get this for this much and da-da-da-da-da. Problem is, you're locked up in the contract for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then you also have to pay the financing for it. So you're looking at, for all those, the equipment in my house was $1,500.
What?
$1,500 is what.
Is there any functionality that yours has, though, that the Nest doesn't have?
No. And then actually equipment that I have is less.
How many cameras do you have?
I have the one in my house.
Yeah.
The one in the backyard and the one and the doorbell camera. So I have 3.
They charge you $1,500 for 3.
Well, I also have the window breaker.
Yeah, but even you can get a 3-pack of Nest cams for $350 sometimes on deal. That's crazy,
right?
And you can set it up yourself.
Now, did you have to have them install it, or
I did? I had to have them install it. And so what happens is you're getting locked into these contracts. And what you don't realize is how long the contract is.
Yeah.
5 years minimum.
And 5. What's the monthly?
Yeah, I was gonna say
monthly. Now that's the thing. Monthly is cheap. I will give them that. Monthly is about $50.
Oh, ours is mine's like $5.
We're 60. We're 60 for the year, and that's 30 days of like back.
Wait, they do it. I got in early, so it used to be you would do. So for a month, it was I think $30, and then every additional camera had its own price. So you basically do the full price for one. So at one point I was doing $10 and then it was like additional $1, whatever it was. Right now I think I'm spending $7 or $11 for 4 cameras for 5 days.
Well, what
But
happened?
if it's 60 for a year,
So yeah,
For
they've
30.
got different packages that are set up, but we went with the I think it's the Nest Home app, and that came with, and I don't remember what I'm gonna have to look at my phone. Yeah, we've got the Nest app set up, and then there's like a Nest Secure subscription, I think is what it's called, that we signed up for, and I think we're the plan right underneath like the main plan. And
is that part of the alarm thing though?
yes,
Oh, so
but
that might be why it's different.
that's constant security monitoring. I
Yeah.
have all of my videos for 30 days. I mean, it does fire and police calling. It'll, I mean,
That's
it's
nice. For 60
it's
a year,
awesome
that's
for
a good
60
deal.
a year. And I believe it's actually called Nest Aware.
But again, that's a year, so that's even cheaper still.
Yeah.
Well, and
I'm
I didn't
paying
pay for
$50 a month.
Yeah, how
you
much
know-
did you pay for the installation too? Because
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
that wasn't
I didn't pay anything.
anything for
They
the
didn't charge
installation.
me for installation,
Well, at
so
least
that was one thing.
included.
Yeah.
But so what was I gonna say? So what happens is, and they split it into, you have to pay 2 different things. So you pay Vivint, they're $27 or whatever.
Mhm.
Then you gotta pay Vivint like loan something. So it's separate. So you gotta make
Oh, for
another
the financing?
yes.
Oh my.
Just to use the equipment? Is it like a lease for the equipment, or is that
Yeah,
equipment?
did you buy
yours?
it? Is it yours or
I believe at the end of the day it would be mine.
okay?
I
So once you're done,
think.
yeah.
But still, like you were just saying, you can buy all those cameras from Google for $300 and something.
Yeah.
Mine is $1,500, and the video quality on it is not as great. They just recently upgraded to 3G.
How about it?
Oh, they have 3G in the cameras?
Yeah.
At least mine are old school. I don't even think.
So my Nest doorbell was able to. One night we were sitting in the living room enjoying ourselves, and all of a sudden we see flashing lights outside, and there's a guy in the ground face down. His bike is kind of just shot out from underneath him as he was driving, and he flew. I mean, the guy had to have been doing like 20-25 miles an hour down a
Yeah.
slope, hit something weird. He flew about 10 feet. His bike was all mangled, gashed his head open, dislocated his shoulder or whatnot. And I was able to go to my doorbell, and it picked up the video. I mean, maybe not in the best quality, but this was across the street,
Yeah.
and heard the impact of him hitting the sidewalk. Clear as day. I think we even got a notification that there was a sound outside.
That is the most gruesome way to do a.
But I mean, it's just
product.
amazing. I mean, like that's literally, I'm talking
this is
like
good
30
because-
feet.
This
You
is
know?
good because I saw a guy go. No,
But-
that's incredible. It's just it's a
And we got a, I mean, but look, think about it. We
It's an
got a
interesting plug.
notification that there was a sound outside our door.
yeah.
I mean, what if nobody was out there? We would have been able, or maybe what if he was hit by a car? Like I was able to go back through and pull up the video for it, and we had it clear as day. It was all him. He
Wow.
just hit something and he went flying. But I was just amazed at the range that just the doorbell can pick up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, microphone technology is incredible. They can pick up the tiniest little noises now with the microphone the size of a pinhole. It's
Oh yeah, I mean, and this is across a busy street.
yeah.
So there's
Without-
cars
yeah.
going both ways.
Exactly.
It amazed me. So
And I'm sorry.
no, and on your for the system that you have set up, like I know my grandmother right now is set up with ADT, and she pays $600 a year to maintain that service,
No.
and $600 a year. So talk about like starting it real early, starting it a long time ago. I think she's had the service for like 10 years, and
That's ridiculous.
the worst part about it is
$6,000.
her system had a malfunction, and they wanted her to pay to have a tech come out to fix what was going on.
Yeah.
I had to take 3 phone calls over probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of time to finally get somebody to figure out what the error code was, and it was a battery. The system battery was running low.
That's one thing that really pisses me off the most, is that you got these people, older people, that these companies will take nickel and dime them
Oh yeah.
for everything. It takes someone like me, you, to get on the phone with them, tell them they know that they're not going to mess with us, basically, because we know what the hell we're
Yeah,
talking
right.
about, to get what we need. But you got these people, $600, she had them for 10 years. That should not be happening.
No.
Right
Well, I
now,
guess it's-
ADT you can get for about $30-$40 a month.
Well, what about like when being grandfathered into something actually meant a good thing? Like she's grandfathered into like like a horrible price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
And I mean, I know she had the same thing with her cell phone. I mean, she was paying like $130 for a limited amount of minutes and like 1,000 text messages. This was 2 years ago.
That's so shady.
You
That's
know, and
ridiculous.
it's just it really bothered me, and I know that's a little off topic, but
No, it actually
Um,
works out great because you know why? Because a lot of older people are getting more security systems. They're starting to invest. Their grandchildren, their kids, whatever, are like, hey, mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, you need something like this. Do this, da 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 da. Some of them are going on their own, and they end up like your grandma, spending way too much and being nickel and dime for.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the one thing side note here is I want to correct myself with just in case someone does do research on Vivint. It wasn't they didn't just recently go to 3G. It was 4G. So
Oh, they
I
went to
apologize.
4G.
Yes.
I mean, 3G is still nice if you lose internet connectivity. I know the Nest cams will give you an alert if the power goes out. If they cannot ping the server every 5 minutes or whatever, you're gonna get an alert on your phone. So there's your notification there.
When my internet has gone out, you can't see the cameras. Like you can't look through the cameras.
But are they still recording using the 4G network or?
I don't know what they're doing, honestly. I've been trying to figure this out, and they're recording. Honestly, if I'm not gonna go there. I don't know really, honestly, what they're doing because I've looked through the recording on passive and I've never seen anything. So it seems like they're just dead.
So they have 4G, but it's not using it for.
Exactly.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
That's exactly my point.
I think there's a Nest Cam that uses T-Mobile 4G. Now I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, there might be.
I know it's is it like the Nest IQ Cam?
That's probably it.
Yes.
Like talking about IQ in terms of cameras. I mean, the cameras that we have set up, and especially the doorbell, I am just astounded at what it can do in terms of monitoring what's coming to your door, right? So we get a notification for sound, which I haven't turned off yet, but I'm on the verge of doing it because we have a flag out front. So every time that thing flaps, I get a sound notification. So it's a little bit of an overkill, but you get your notification when the guy's at the sidewalk. Now it's about, you've been to my house. It's like 15, 20 feet from the street
And it tells you it
up,
sees a person.
and it tells me it sees a person by that time.
And that's one of the things I've always loved about the Nest. So Lynn, my stepmother, she had gotten this night owl system. It has like a DVR and you have to run these cables through your house and stuff like that. And she wanted it for the front door because apparently some neighbor was stalking her or something like that. This was a long time ago, so I don't remember the exact details, but she wanted all the stuff set up, and then she wanted the app set up to it and put it on the internet, and all that stuff was fine. But it didn't have any type of facial recognition. So every single time something changed in the frame, notification. After a while, she turned it off and she ended up spending more than if she'd gotten the Nest cams, which tell you people. This is the crazy part about how the Nest Cam stuff works. So this blew my mind. So at one point, I got this coat hanger here, and there was a coat hanging on it. And one day I get a notification that a person was detected, and I'm like, okay, so maybe one of the maintenance guys came to the apartment. So I look at it, and like when you get that, you see something, you get that sudden shock, like oh, that is a person, but it wasn't a person. It was the coat happened to take the shape of a person, but it did it in such a way. So the Nest uses, again, a neural network to figure out what people are, and then it runs your footage through their servers, and it'll tell you. So the way that my head interpreted the image is basically their neural networks are so good that they knew how I would interpret. It freaked me out, and then for like the next few hours, I had to go home after work, and I moved the coat because it just kept going off saying person. But when I first looked at it, I thought genuinely it was a person, and so did their neural network.
Yeah.
I just think that's an incredible.
Well, I like too. We have my fiance likes ordering stuff off of Amazon. I think we average about 2 packages a day. So while I'm at work, I'm getting the notifications that a package has been delivered to your door.
What?
So it
That's cool.
actually registers the UPS, FedEx, Amazon driver coming up to our doorsteps,
Get out of here.
physically leaving something on our doorstep, and then walking
Does
away.
it tell you which package that they left?
No, it doesn't tell us which package. I mean, maybe it does. I don't have the Amazon account. I'd have to ask her. So, but
That would be so cool.
I mean, you got to have a way to monitor all your
Mine doesn't even do
purchases.
any of that.
So
No, like it will literally do what you were saying about Lynn. That's what it would
Ding,
do.
ding, ding.
Yeah, ding, ding,
No.
ding. I shut it off. I'm
yeah,
like,
and,
no.
then it defeats the purpose. It's basically
Exactly.
just there so you could
It's a nuisance.
you bother
Yeah.
Kelly with it more than you use it for he does. He uses that to. He uses that to. Cause it's funny, right? Because you'll see him when we're hanging out. He tries to call Kelly or whatever, and then she doesn't pick up the phone. So I know she's home. So he goes and he starts having a phone conversation with her through the two-way microphone using the camera.
That's great because I know the first time that we got once we were all set up with Google, the Google's got the broadcast feature, and I found out I can broadcast from work. So pretty much
Nice.
what the broadcasting is it's like an old school intercom system, but I guess and I was just reading that about a month ago Google said that they were going to bring back the ability to broadcast to individual rooms. So right now it's like all or nothing. So either you broadcast to the entire house and make everybody, terrified, get them jumping up, up and down wherever they are because there's this voice, especially
It just
one
comes
as
out of nowhere.
nice and soothing as mine, coming over every speaker in the house, asking, "Hey, what are we having for dinner?"
Oh my god.
Or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's
So-
funny to see people's faces when they don't see. But one time a maintenance guy came in here and they didn't send me an email and I was like, hey, like, what are you doing? There's no, and you see him looking. He's like looking around, like where'd that voice come from? It was. Oh, at that point I was just messing with him. I was just like,
No, it's great. And talking about that doorbell, and it registers somebody delivering a package, but we also had an incident where it thought it saw somebody pick our package up and leave with it.
No way.
We had 2 deliveries in one day, and I think they pushed the package forward,
Okay.
and it said package may have been taken from your doorstep. So like that in of itself, just having it at your front door is awesome.
Yeah.
So when your packages are coming. I mean, I know, what the last couple of years there's been an increased crime rate for people stealing stuff at your door. I think this was, you buy something that's worth $100 and it's stolen, you're out $100.
Yeah.
At least in this, in this place, you ward off somebody from potentially taking $100 off your doorstep, and in my mind, like that pays for the device itself.
And if they do take it, you have proof. Like, hey, this is now. They could just say, well, you just had a friend go up and steal it. But it's like, come on.
Well, I get a notification that somebody's been spotted at my doorbell. I can chime into it, and then I can speak at them if I need to, which also I think deters. So, and I've got buddies that have, I think it was Simply Safe, or what is the other, the one that you were referencing before that's hackable?
Ring. It's not Ring.
Yeah, Ring.
It was
Ring.
Ring. Yeah.
And it's actually there's a couple that's friends with my fiance and I, and they live in Cincinnati, and he was telling me about there's a whole Facebook group for Ring doorbell owners, and they do nothing but post the videos that their Ring doorbell goes off, and like you were saying, like for no reason whatsoever, I have movement, like some leaves blew across my lawn, and hey, we've got motion, right? And he said that one of the people on the website had posted all these videos of the time the Ring doorbell or whatever it was had gone off because it detected motion. But the one time his car gets broken into, there's nothing, absolutely nothing on the doorbell. So I think I probably installed a doorbell within 2 weeks of having it, and I have no issues with it. Though you know what? The one issue is there's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
From doorbell to phone.
And you know what? That's because it's from what I understand. Well, okay. So one, obviously, it's got to go over from a very small device. It's got to compress that, beam that over, put it on the internet, blah, blah, blah. But I think it has to go through their servers first to do the identification process.
Yeah.
And when you have, I can only imagine, Nestle's become very popular. So I can only imagine how much footage they're getting, like 24 hours a day that they have to churn through. Basically, I think it's like every 5th frame or something. It's ridiculous.
Now,
it's crazy.
Do you get delay when you look at your living room or anything like that?
No, none at all. I actually, my living room, the second I signed into the app, there's like there's a brief pause as the app's loading, but then it's just nonstop live recording.
Mine's delayed.
Yeah.
Even with the living room.
Like
everything is delayed.
Your videos are like 5 seconds behind the
Yep.
actual. Okay.
So you could be talking in the living room and then I'll hear it 5 seconds later.
Yeah, I think mine's about 2 or 3 seconds though. Mine are the first gen, so that could be why as well. I think you have newer ones.
I mean, I'll text Sammy and then go on the camera and talk to her at the same time. So and anything to make it spice up the day.
So you're using these things more for trolling than for security.
Have you played Xbox with me?
I have.
Very well.
I
We
understand
had
now.
this conversation last
Yeah.
week.
did.
So now I do have a question because I'm completely submersed in Google, and you said you have Nest and you have was it Vivint?
Vivint, yep.
Do you have any other smart home?
I had Amazon. I had Alexa.
So now, how do you have an easy time integrating all of those, or do you kind of have to use them like independently from each and
It was an easy process.
Yeah.
Took Alexa out. Google came in, picked up all the devices I had. 1, 2, 3, it's done.
So now, are you using multiple apps to control your smart home, like devices?
No, I use Google. Well, I use the Google Home for the lights and
Yeah.
all the Google stuff. But,
Yeah.
I have Vivint for Vivint.
Yeah. Okay. And what now, Dom? I know you've got a smorgasbord of different products and
I
this.
got lots of.
And I think we've talked about it before too. And the reason I bring up the app thing is one of the things that I hate. I've got 2 apps for Google right now.
Mm-hmm.
One that kind of shows me all the devices that I have in the house, and the other is to use the devices in the house. I mean, I guess you can kind of get a little bit of functionality from both of them, but I think one's the Google Home app and the other's the Nest app, and I think they're actually talking about integrating those
They're
into
trying to
one
move-
app.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier. I mean, honestly, when we were talking about door locks, like I would love to get like the August door lock. I like that. It looks solid to me. That's the one that you mount on the back. It's just a big circular
Oh, yeah,
disc and
yeah.
whatnot. But the thing that kind of deters me from doing that, and this is just me being picky, is that I'd have another app.
I'm the same exact way. The fewer apps, iOS 14 is amazing because it puts all the apps in that app drawer thing now. And I can only have, like, when you look at my home screen, it's just my 12 essential apps and then some widgets because I'm on the iOS 14 beta. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. But I'm totally with you. The less apps, the better. Like I'm literally have been migrating more stuff over to Philips Hue. So I had iHome smart plugs. I've now upgraded those to Philips Hue so I can get rid of the iHome app. And I have the Dyson fans. And I am this close to ditching Fernando, my Roomba.
Oh, Fernando.
I've had him since 2017. Wonderful product. Have no problems with it. Just so I can get rid of the Roomba app and use the Dyson 360 vacuum. And it's like $1,500 or something. And I'm that petty that I'm like, but there's 2 apps and I just want the one app.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. But yeah, all the smart home stuff. So I got Siri, which you guys have Google Home. I used to have Alexa. And everything with Alexa works fine. You sign in to your profile or whatever, and it all links up. Apple does things. Apple has the right idea, but it's not profitable for other companies because when they initially launched HomeKit, because they kind of started the smart home thing, the assistants weren't available per se, but that home app, we've all seen it from a long time ago. They introduced that. Apple, in order to make a product that would go that Apple would certify that would be allowed to go into the home app, had to have special security measures in place for it. Well, when you're a startup, that's counterproductive in terms of cost versus the market penetration you're going to have. You have all these Android people. So Bezos comes out with Alexa that just says, screw it. You're just be able to put in your username, password. Oh, excuse me. And you're good to go. And so most of the stuff works with HomeKit. I got Philips Hue for all my lighting and stuff like that. That works great. What else do I have on there? It's mostly just lighting and smart plugs and stuff because the Roomba doesn't go on. The Roomba doesn't connect. The newer Dyson fans now connect. The older ones, they won't update them. Since I think it was iOS 2-3 years ago, whatever iOS that one was, they removed the restrictions. Now you just have to have software security and then you're good. It doesn't have to be hardware based. So a few things have gotten updated. Nest, however, is the one thing that I've noticed, and I promise I'm going like a super long rant here, but what I found interesting is a lot of the people who own Nest systems are also iPhone users. And Google bought Nest a long time ago. And for whatever reason, they will not put the support into the Nest systems into HomeKit. That could be a rivalry thing. It could be a Google versus Apple. You know what I'm saying? It could be one of those things. But when you go online, you search for it, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people saying, would you guys just integrate this? Would you guys just integrate this?
Yeah.
Now, where the correlation is, I don't know. I don't know why there's so many people that seem to have the Nest systems and iPhones. Whatever it might be, it's irrelevant. It's like my one pet peeve because they can do it.
Yeah.
For some reason they won't. I don't know why, and it drives me crazy, especially when Philips Hue and everything else does it.
There are talks that Apple is considering doing that with Google now, opening up doing what you're talking about. I think
Yeah, iOS 14. I think they were talking. They're working more. They're working nice with Amazon and Google.
yeah. So those situations should be taken care of then.
Hopefully,
If not,
we'll see. Yeah,
I believe that's gonna hurt them, Apple, in the long run.
it's one of those things where it's like I hear the sides of both ends, right? Like Apple seeing it from the perspective of we want to make sure that these devices that people are using are secure, and then there's obviously the money part of it because you have to pay for licensing in order to be able to get that certification. So then there's the other side, where it's like when you're like a small startup, right? And that's why Bezos, okay, so that makes sense, right? So but Bezos comes in and he makes Alexa, and it's like you just sign in and you're good to go, right? So from a little startup, it's we don't have to follow all these rules. We can just do it however we want, and then it'll integrate, right? Like those smart feeders, for the animals. I got the PetNet 2.0 feeders, wonderful product, until they have no idea what they're doing, and everything has just fallen apart because those things have not been able to connect to the internet since their servers went down, and apparently that's a whole fiasco. But I know that I can't get Siri to make those things feed my cat. Alexa can. But the difference is I'm willing to bet that thing was made for HomeKit. All these issues they've had because their internal software sucks. Like you can't even have two pet nets, two of those feeders on one account.
I feel so bad that you can't, you have to feed your cats manually.
That's right. You should feel
so sorry for you.
Social distancing.
Oh.
It's very social. It's very distant. It's very scheduled. And you know what? They love it. And it's nice. It's just those little things where you can kind of see the difference between the ones that focus on getting that stuff. And so the Nest not fitting into the HomeKit thing just always bothered me because it's just like it seems like it should go into HomeKit.
Yeah. Well, one of our friends, he actually just recently purchased a house. I think November of last year, and he was the one that introduced me to that August door lock. He went to go put one on his front door and one on his back door. I mean, they're a couple $100 a piece. Bought two of them. He can't use them together. So there's actually an issue where when he goes and tries to unlock one, it unlocks the wrong one, or and they just,
God.
It was just something that wasn't very, I guess out there. Like some information, obviously they're not going to go and say, hey, you can only have one per house. Of course they're going to want you to buy 3, 4, 5,
Right.
6, what?
Oh my God.
But he was having a hard time controlling both of them independently.
That I don't know what it is about. Maybe they need to have a class on building a better user experience because there's quite a few companies that do stuff like that. You have the ones that clearly know what they're doing. They try to streamline it, and even if it's not perfect, they update it with time.
Yeah.
They make it cleaner. They make it nicer, and then you got these just like that, just like the Pet Network. It looks like a premium product, right? It has like all the design elements, like a really fancy looking website. Like it looks the way that it should, and it's priced the way that it should. And you get in there, and it's just, I'd rather have my leg broke.
Yeah. Well, and in terms of a smart lock, like this one is probably one of the easiest ones to install yourself.
What's the company called again?
It's the August Smart Lock.
August Smart Lock.
Yeah.
Is that that new one that just came out?
I don't think the one that he had was new, but it looks like just like a big round silver hockey puck.
Yes,
and that goes on the backside of your door,
mm-hmm.
and it's just a mechanism that goes and attaches on top of your deadbolt, and it'll open and close your deadbolt. And you can give people access to your door so that, if you have a dog walker and the dog walker comes by Monday through Friday and they come by at noon, you give the dog walker access to your house from, 11:30 to 1 o'clock, and they come to your door, they hold down a big red button on their phone and it unlocks your door. They go in, it locks behind you.
Yeah. Joey, doesn't yours allow you to remote unlock though?
Yes.
Okay, so you got that at least.
And I can assign users as well.
Okay. Is it like a fob or is it a code?
It's a code. Yeah, you can assign them their own PIN numbers, basically.
And does yours like limit them to certain times, certain days, or is it?
No, I didn't do it that way. I think I can.
Yeah,
but I don't. I haven't messed around with that part.
So now, what if with yours? So is yours attached to the deadbolt?
Yes. No, it's actually it's
yours
taking
is the
place.
Lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the lock.
That's what I'm saying. So what happens in the case of you losing power?
It still works because it's battery.
Okay, so it's battery. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's some that are set up where, hey, you're like, I think that August one, I think if you lose or if your battery goes and you're just kind of negligent, don't replace it, that thing's locked. Like you have to go through some sort of special parameter to like get it done,
Yeah.
get back into it. The one thing that really intrigued me about the Google lock was if you ignore the countless warnings that your battery's running low, which I mean Google's great about notifying you
Yeah.
when things are going low. I put in a filter, said, hey, I put my filter in just the other day. I got a notification across the top of my phone saying, hey, guess what? Time to replace that filter, man. So I guess what'll happen is if you completely neglect your Google lock or I don't even think it's a Google lock. It's the Yale Nest lock. There's a little contact on the bottom of it. So if you're at 0 power, you grab a 9-volt battery, touch to the bottom. It's enough energy for you to type in your passcode to open up your door and go.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That's the little nuance stuff that just makes a difference. Those little edge cases nobody thinks about. It's like in this tiny event, and that in a lot of these companies there's some big bosses that know that we're not going to deal with those 2%ers where that situation is going to happen. Look how better like someone's life is just because of that one particular moment.
Oh, absolutely.
And that creates loyalty. And loyalty, you know what? You have these long-term people that commit to a product for a long time. Why would you not want that?
Well, and you don't have to keep your key in that fake rock out front where people can actually have access to it. You just keep a 9-volt battery somewhere safe.
You could go to the Walgreens and go grab it.
Walk to the gas station to do it. It's awesome.
And even if someone was able to put in, so obviously most of the time you're probably going to have power in that thing. So it's not even like a security risk because somebody could just walk up and it's like, well, you already have power to it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Someone puts in the code, putting a 9-volt in isn't all it does is just give it power long enough to put in a code. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just it's like it makes so much sense. It's just those tiny little things. I love that stuff. That stuff is I love when companies do that kind of stuff.
So now, and I don't know, like, does your security system register? So when I set up my Google, my Google Home Security Home Smart System, I was able to register my account and then register my Bing to my cell phone. So it tracks me through GPS. So as I leave the house, it says, hey, we notice nobody's in the house. We notice you're away. You want us to arm the security system? Because I mean, I'm gonna forget. We don't really have.
It just does it automatically.
So we've got the key fobs where we can turn on our security system and not. But I leave the house. I just click the little notification, say yes, and it arms my security system.
Those are for guests. Those little fobs, more like, or even for kids or someone who doesn't have the app, who doesn't have it on their app. Technically speaking, when you and Sammy leave, it should arm itself automatically once it knows no one's in there.
So we did the fobs for us because it says to do it. I mean, they're really for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
The people that don't have fobs, you assign a code to, and then they can come in and deactivate through the code.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. I like having the fob just because sometimes I come in and I'm not going to remember my password.
You're just not thinking about it.
I just drop it on top of it.
But doesn't it turn off automatically just by your phone being within the geofence of your house? Doesn't that disarm it?
No, because I think they probably built something in. Well, what if somebody takes their phone and their home address is on there? They could just walk into the house.
Fair.
And now, by all means, that doesn't prevent somebody from scrolling down on the notification and hitting disarm. But it's nice too because you're carrying groceries. The last thing you want to do is try to fumble and type in your password, hit it incorrectly, and then
yeah.
It's just really inconvenient. Yeah, you drop it and go, but. We get a notification as we're coming back home. Hey, we notice you guys are about 5 feet away. You want us to disarm the security system.
That's nice.
Just quick scroll down, hit yes, grab as many bags as you can and go in, arms full with no issue. So,
That's nice.
now, and I'm just curious because I don't know a lot about the Vivint. Like, does that have something similar to that, or is that like just a Google specific thing?
I don't know if it's Google specific, but no, mine doesn't.
Yeah.
Mine's you could just say it's basic. That's what I would say.
That's just so surprising though, because at that price point,
I know.
Yeah, and for what you pay, you said you're monthly. I mean, that's
just the monthly alone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's why I've been telling Kelly. I'm like, once our contract's done, we're going full Google. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you look at like some of the price tags on Google because they're not cheap, right? Like none of nothing quality is cheap. Right. I think we were probably fully integrated for about $2,000. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's for every speaker that I've put in every room of the house, the doorbell, and the other devices that I have, the Nest Hub Max, which was surely a want. But it's cool too that I mean it's a great speaker. And then what's really nice and where we've had a lot of fun with it is you can look up a recipe or you can say, hey, Google, Give me a recipe.
Yeah.
And then it'll actually throw that recipe onto your Nest Hub Max, and it'll say, these are the ingredients. So you can go step by step on ingredients, and you just tell it next, and then you go into the directions, and it tells you what to do and you start cooking your meal, and you just keep nexting it through the directions.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun. Or, you want to cook and you know what you're making, you throw a video on, cast a video onto the Nest Hub Max.
And Apple could totally make, because they have their HomePod,
Mhm.
which, okay, the hardware for the HomePod is phenomenal, but the Siri has its issues. But all that being said, they could make, like, as cliche as it's going to sound, home pads. That's literally an iPad mixed with a HomePod that's shaped similar-ish. And they're probably working on it. I'm not going to lie. They're probably doing stuff, because you can imagine having FaceTime, iMessage,
Oh, absolutely.
all the Apple stuff, iTunes, all integrated right there. Plus, you get all that additional functionality. I don't know what's.
I don't know why Apple hasn't released their own like security things. Their own.
I don't know if that's necessarily their, because that's more of an Internet of Things type thing.
Yeah, but you know what? They're a $1 trillion company. Why not?
They probably just I don't know. After seeing Tim Cook talk yesterday, they just have a certain. I guess Steve Jobs' ideology was always, this has to be something that you're incredibly passionate about, because you should be so excited at the fact that you made this that you should want to go off and tell all your friends and family, not because you made it, but because you made it and you're excited about how it turned out. And so I don't know. It could be anything from ROI to, I mean, can you imagine what a Siri powered lock would do? It'd probably, well, first of all, it'd screw up all the time. And then it would convert kilograms to golf balls.
Well, I'm just saying it would actually help with the whole people that are using iPhones and stuff, and not having to worry about, you know what I mean?
You're talking about, so basically, instead of buying Nest stuff, you'd buy Apple security stuff. I mean, it's not a
if Apple's not willing to do that for people that use Google, then come out with your own stuff.
People still do it, and like, you know what I'm saying, like.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying
People
that have Apple stuff, they're gonna buy the Apple, security stuff.
There's alternatives too. I mean, there's Ecobee, Honeywell makes security systems. Logitech makes them, and those do work with HomeKit.
Correct, but to me, Google's top of the line.
Oh no, I would say right now, Nest is this new company this new startup that's coming out, where they're building all their devices on security first. So right from the ground up, that's the philosophy, no matter what it costs. I can't remember what the company's called. They're an interesting one to look out for. I think their product's going to be very, very competitive. Logitech's been around for a really, really long time, so they know what they're doing. I don't know too much about Honeywell. I know they make washing machines.
They make jet engines. We used to, my last job, we actually made clutches for Honeywell jet engines.
See, that's cool. So they make a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of great products out there. Ring seems to have issues, and there's obviously a lot of low tier ones.
Yeah, Ring, actually, you're talking about issues. Sammy was just, her mother just purchased a house in Florida, and she was down there trying to help her set up her Ring doorbell, and she couldn't get out of the package, couldn't get it to work, couldn't get it to sync to the Wi-Fi. And register the Wi-Fi, and she apparently talked to like the front desk of this new it's a one of those areas down in Florida where they're just building from the ground up, and they're making a community, and they've got a front office. And she brought the stuff over there, and she said, "Hey, have you heard anything about this?" And I guess that's a pretty common issue just in that community, that these devices just wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi. And, of course, she called me from Florida. I can't get it to work. I'm trying. I looked up real quick, is this a common issue? And there's just nothing but posts about how the device won't connect to Wi-Fi, which was the bread and butter behind it.
Is there a fix for it? Like, what was is there like
I didn't even go that far into it. It was just kind of known issue. I think they were probably either fixing it or swapping them out for better devices. I don't know what the fix would be.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It just didn't pick up the home Wi-Fi to connect it so it would work.
Interesting.
And that's frustrating.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You buy something like that and you
work.
take it out of the box and it doesn't work.
And it should come out. It should you just bought it. At least make it a day of working before you give it, before you give problems.
And the only, what's funny too, and you were talking about, I think you said you had the Nest Hub Max, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our neighbors came over to our house one night, and they saw the Nest Hub Max, and I was kind of explaining what it does, and Have you made a Google, what was it, the Google Duo call with it? It's like Google's version of FaceTime.
Yeah.
The coolest thing to me was that I could walk around my entire kitchen and the camera followed me.
Yep.
So I could do stuff and I didn't have to just stare at it. And
Yeah, and
I
it
could
zooms in
I
on
would
you.
walk out a picture or think I would walk out a picture and it
Well,
would just follow me around.
Didn't Facebook make a product pseudo like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? It was like 2 years ago. They had that. That was one of their features. So
Mhm.
it was
Yeah,
like a
it was-
smart home product.
It was what is that called? So yeah, Facebook did make something. It's called Portal.
Mhm.
So they have the Portal from Facebook, and they also have it looks like Portal Mini. So they have two different ones, just like Google Home and Google Home Max.
Yeah. So they have that too. That is a really cool feature. That's definitely just the idea that it could. But again, it's those neural networks, right? It just knows what a person is and it just knows how to frame.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
camera
I
on it.
would.
It's really cool.
I tried it. So we've got it on our countertop, and I went really close to the countertop, and then just kind of ducked down. Got lower, like
Like a
just to
cartoon.
see what would happen, and it zoomed in on me, and it zoomed out. I mean, it was just really kind of fun to play with for a while.
Yeah. It's cool to mess around with those things.
But and speaking of that, the only issue that I've heard so far with like the Google products and so, as far as the smart home goes is our neighbor bought one the day after they came over to our house because they enjoyed like the convenience of it. And I guess it was a refurbished one and it was still connected to the previous owner's house.
Oh no.
And they didn't disconnect it from their home network. And I guess whatever tech support they called could not remove it from the previous owner's
account.
account.
Oh my god.
So I mean, that's great though.
Oh,
Think
yeah,
about it. I
somebody
mean, like
steals it,
that's like the best worst situation or worst best situation, however you want to look at it. Talking about getting something out of a box and wanting to put it in and go zoom. I mean,
Yeah.
that's frustrating, but it's good to know that you can't just like come rob my house, take my Nest Cam,
Right.
go home, and then go and get any of my stuff. It's not going to sync up unless it's on my Wi-Fi network.
Exactly.
Which is pretty cool. Now, being that you have your system, you had somebody come in and install. Have you had any experience like installing the different devices, like the smart home devices? Obviously, probably the lights. I maybe the the alarm system for Google.
Oh, the Nest Protect.
Yeah, Nest Protect. Like, have you done any of the installation yourself? Because I think there's a lot of people that are out there that might not jump to like a do-it-yourself smart home because of I have to install something.
I have to use a screwdriver.
Yeah.
But, oh my god, and AA batteries. It's
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think there's a lot of people that think there's some level of rocket surgery that goes
No,
into
it's
installing
super
these
easy.
home systems. And when I installed mine, I mean, I
It's
was
three
able.
screws per camera with a metal plate. It sticks on there, and you're done.
Perfect.
You-
Yeah.
and the cables are white and they're long, so you can hide them in the corner. I mean, you can see mine a little bit, but it's not like it's a black cable, generic black
Yeah.
cable, right? Like they at least
They're
thought about.
sturdy. And
Yeah.
my favorite part about those cables were the clips that held the cables in that perfect circle when you take them out of the box.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't want to take them out,
Those are nice.
but I did, and then it was just. But and the reason I asked that is because like I do think that there are a lot of people that are afraid to switch over to a smart home that's not professionally installed because they don't feel like they have the ability to put in or install like a doorbell or the Nest thermostat.
hmm
Like that is you do have to deal with some wires, maybe a little bit of voltage
You do.
testings, and
But
like
their
is it-
app makes it super easy, right?
there's videos on installing everything. I think
I'm sorry, I
that-
didn't mean to derail anything.
No, I'm just wondering, like, was that one of the reasons why you went with what you went with? Like, were you intimidated to like install something like that? Was that, or would you go with the?
Mine was stupidity, honestly,
Why do you say that?
He just didn't know what he didn't know.
because I never even thought about it.
But
I never thought about smart security.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was thinking old school. I'm like, oh, get one of these, and oh, look at the price. It's not so bad. And I didn't think about all
And
that.
I've heard that by a lot of people. When I think about how TV has slowly moved into internet streaming, I have so many people that just like the traditional cable box, pay your monthly,
Yeah.
a bunch of channels are blacked out. Like that has been so integrated into that transition from, like very basic technology to like sort of good technology to like 90s to mid 2000s technology. Like, yeah, we're here. We can rewind and pause live TV. And that, like, it just kind of stuck there. for some reason.
Yeah.
Things aren't moving. Like, and it's a little thing, right? Like everyone's on iPhones and or not, or they're on smartphones, right? So that moved over. But I feel like when it comes to, like Joe said, it's just it's like the security systems. Like that's what it was in the 2000s, right? It was, you had ADT, you had
Yeah, well, you can't possibly install something yourself that's better or rivals ADT. You
or
know,
the only choice.
yeah. Well, the reason I ask that is because I've heard a lot of people there that after coming into my house, they look at what I have, and the first question is, was it hard to put in? How long did it take you to install it? And I honestly, I was a little intimidated when I first, bought everything, and now I've got, $2,000 worth of product in here that I have to install in my house now, and I've never owned a home before. So hey, fingers crossed. And then, I do feel like I would rank myself as like intermediate on the scale of handyman, but this stuff was easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so easy. The thermostat was 3 wires, 4 wires, maybe.
Mhm.
You had to kill the breaker. The hardest thing to install was the doorbell. You had to go into your existing chime and like bypass the wires into your device. And I was just really amazed at how easy it really was to put everything into your house and how quick I did it. I think everything was installed in like a matter of 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a big issue where, I would say if I were to put a percentage on it, I'd say like maybe 25-30% of people don't want to do it because one, like that's an expensive amount of, devices that I could potentially screw up. I think that's always the fear.
Mhm.
Like if I do it, I might mess it up. And if I mess it up, I got to eat all of that cost.
Right.
And
Yeah, that is a concern for people.
But
It's a
then-
fair concern.
See, with me, I would call Tom, and then be like, okay, you guys done this how many times? All right, cool.
It's really not that bad. I would say the craziest ones are going to be the doorbell,
Yeah.
possibly the lock, and the thermostat.
See,
Other than that,
yeah.
I would just have you guys over just so am I screwing this up?
Yeah.
Basically, check me.
I talked myself off a ladder. I was like, you worked on aircraft. And I was like, oh, I can do a doorbell. And it was just, but it was intimidating.
Yeah,
like
it is.
I didn't own the aircraft.
yeah, it's
if I
always
messed it up.
it's new. Yeah, and it's you're in it, and once it's one of those things where people just they're like, I don't need all that, and then they finally do it. It's like, oh, this is great. Like I can tell you how hard it's been to convince people to just use the keychain built in their iPhone. It's like, are you sick and tired of forgetting your password? It's like, well, yeah, but I want to know the password. Why? What does
Yeah.
it matter if it signs you in? Because the thing of it is, you don't even know the password. So you're saying you want the password to be something easy you can memorize, but then you don't even remember it because some variant of 1.5 million other passwords, and it's like, well, I'll just go reset it to my email. But you forgot your email password, so you can't now
Yeah.
get into that. It's just like there are clearly things that make things easier when there's a problem, and yet for some reason there's just people stick to this idea. It's just like not moving to the future. I've been off of like standard cable TV for the longest time. I don't miss it. It's cost me like $40 a month for the AT&T Next, and it used to be DirecTV Next, and now it's this, and now it's I don't know what it's called. It's AT&T TV service.
Yeah. We've got YouTube TV. The reason why I went with YouTube is because of the partnership with Google.
Do they have
And-
Comedy Central though? Because that's the one thing that AT&T has that when I had the PlayStation View service, they used to have Comedy Central. They had Viacom, and I obviously like my South Parks and all that other
Mhm.
stuff, and then they dropped it, so that was gone. And so I just didn't have TV for a while because I'm like, I'm not paying Comcast. Screw that. And then AT&T came out, and it had it, but Hulu didn't have it. I don't think YouTube had it. None of them had freaking Viacom. The only one that had, and that's the
Yeah.
only reason I care about is for Comedy Central and occasionally news.
I do not believe that it has Comedy Central, but I could be wrong. I went with YouTube TV just strictly because it was one of the. I think I got like 2 months free for having my Nest subscription or something,
Yeah.
something silly for that. And we were like, hey, let's try it. It's $50 a month. You can record TV. I mean, they have live shows. You can record pretty much anything you want on there. To whatever
Did you find it?
or however much you want. Do you use any kind of streaming service for your your media wants, needs, and more?
Yes, but to kind of go back to what Dom was saying about YouTube TV, Dom, they actually do have it on YouTube TV. It
Do they?
launched this summer.
So it was this summer, so you could see like it's been so that might be something to look at. I don't because I also get free HBO with my AT&T thing because I have AT&T unlimited data for my cell phone, and that's all integrated. So I get HBO Max, and then I also get the actual HBO channel. So I might be but but it's $40 a month. I don't.
I like AT&T.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it. And then Sam, back to your question. Yes, I have what Dom has. I have ATT TV as well. Um, I but I don't do it on the Apple TV actually. I mean, yes and no. I also have their one box for my one bedroom that I don't have an Apple TV in, and then yeah, your Apple TVs, and then that's mostly it.
And they do these promos every once in a while where you pay. So an Apple TV is about $150
Yeah.
for the base model, right? So they'll do these promos. At least they were doing them for a while, where you can get an Apple TV. They'll give it to you for free. You buy 3 months worth of service, which at the time was $30 a month for the lowest one. So basically, you get a free Apple TV and 90 days of service for $90.
That's not bad.
And it was a 4K
Yeah.
Apple TV, which is, I mean, that's a good deal. The Apple TV, I don't know if the one product I can say that I have not seen a TV manufacturer do, that I have not seen anybody else do as well as in this TV space, is the Apple TV. Roku can't do it. Amazon can't do it. Google, not the way that this thing does it, especially if you have an iPhone. There's something very special about all the little polish that goes into just having this little, it's amazing because you get one and all of a sudden your phone starts telling you. And again, this is when it first came out and they have many other features, but back then it was like, wait, what? It's telling me this new episode just came out, and it'll just ping your phone, and it like watches you, but in the way that you want to be watched. It feels very very
right.
warm.
Well, no, you know what I found. I actually just recently bought a new iPhone for myself, and one of the things that came with the phone was a free year subscription to Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, why not? I'm gonna do it. I've got everything, what the Google Chrome set up on every TV in the house, which is super convenient. You know, if I start watching TV downstairs, I cast it to the TV downstairs. Hey, you know what? I think I want to go lay in bed. Pause it. Go upstairs. Cast it where I left off at the TV upstairs. Fantastic. I cannot cast Apple TV onto the Google Chromecast.
No, but you can to an Apple TV.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. Like that I do. You know, it was just really kind of frustrating because I've been wanting to watch C.
Mm-hmm.
And I can either watch it on my phone or I can watch it on my iPad, which is, I mean,
and
that's
that's
just me being picky.
But you know what? And that's just how Apple is. One of those things. It sucks. It sucks whenever I run into a thing that Apple does. I can give you a great example. So I have my work phone's an Android phone, and it uses this thing to transfer files back and forth called MTP, or it used to use MTP. I don't know. They changed this protocol, whatever. So you could do it. You could plug your Android phone into a Windows machine. You could transfer files back and forth like a flash drive, right? But Apple, in one of their last 2 updates, pushed out a thing where they don't support that protocol anymore. So it's like this big ordeal, and it happens all the time. Like back in the day when they didn't support Flash, right? So you can imagine back then, like how frustrating it would be for people where 90% of the internet's Flash, and you can't view any of these websites. So, to your point, I get it. It's just you love the Apple giveth and Apple taketh away, and it's just
Apples.
Appleth.
Appleth.
I don't know.
It's been
so. I just know we're running out of time, and I just wanted to ask you guys some quick questions real quick. So, I want to know, both of you, 5 wants, or what's your let's see, of the smart home stuff and where it's going, where it's been, where it's at, all that good stuff like that. Give me your 5 things that you've enjoyed and 5 things that you haven't enjoyed / want to see change. Sam, you go first.
I'll kick it off. I absolutely love the convenience of having a smart home, being able to tell my lights on and off whenever I want. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, don't you hate light switches now too when people message?
That's one of my.
Now you understand.
So that's on my list of things that I don't like.
Okay.
So the convenience is great. You know, I've always said I can go and flip a light switch on. Oh, now I can tell it to flip on. So I don't know. It's just really kind of cool. It's empowering. The second one is cost savings. I mean, there truly is a ton of cost savings with switching over to the smart home devices and doing the light bulbs and, you know, the AC and all the rebates that they have on the Google Nest. I like being able to know who's at my door with that, you know, with the Ring doorbell, or not the Ring doorbell, the Google doorbell. Yeah. You know, it's nice to know that who's at my door. And my number one favorite is being able to connect all my speakers in my house and play the national anthem at 100% volume.
Trolling. He
Yes.
uses this technology, this cutting edge technology to troll people.
So, my dislikes, obviously, I talked about the broadcast. I can't wait for them to come out with that individual room broadcast. I mean, I've got to name each room and each device something, so I should be able to say, hey, talk to. I think one of our rooms is called the Thunderdome. So, you know, I I want that individual, you know, room selection. I do. You know, you asked me about the light switches. You know, a lot of people that don't have smart homes come in and they're like, well, where's the light, you know, the light switch, and they'll flick it on and then I have to reset it after 45 seconds.
That's why I took them all out of my walls.
That is frustrating.
Yeah.
Dislikes.
I mean, 5.
That's really that's those are my dislikes.
What's not to love?
I absolutely.
Okay. Joey, what you got for me? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to make sure we get Joey in too.
Honestly, Sam nailed everything on the head. The one thing I would like to see actually though is a fingerprint to unlock my door.
I think they have those. I think they have those. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I
like
have
a
to look it up.
biometric fingerprint scan. That's
Really
always
getting
what
some
I said.
James
Once
Bond stuff, like with the eyes. Just damn.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too. I was doing the eyes, but the thing is, I don't think a lot of people want to be like bending over.
that's how you're gonna have to get into my man cave once I get the basement set up. It's gonna be biometric, only my
Yours
finger.
would be like you have to put like one of your butt cheeks on one of those
pinky toe, man.
scanners. Pinky toe. Pinky toe. I was thinking 2 Simpsons,
Pinky
and
toe.
not. I definitely agree with all your stuff too. I would say the only thing that has been the most annoying. So the stuff's expensive, but that's fine. That's not really what it is. The most expensive part is, for whatever reason in this universe, every single time a woman's ever walked in here, be it Aaron, well, not Aaron. Aaron's good, but when they're new here, are those plugged in? And they just get wildly uncomfortable and they think I'm watching them go to the bathroom. I don't understand why. Because there's not one in the bathroom and they're not on. And I show them the app. It's like, no, it's just a security system. You know, I work in IT. I got a lot of electronics here. Like you could see, right? There's a lot of stuff. I just want to be secure, right? It's like, it was basically here by myself for the longest time. I live on the first floor. Super easy to rob.
Absolutely.
And I show them the app and they're just like, well, I'd really like if you'd unplug them. What? You've been here 6 minutes.
Well, I think it's the combination of your cameras and the mirror that's on the ceiling that makes people uneasy.
Okay, there is no mirror.
What happens when you tell Siri to play Sexy Time?
Do not do that right now. I actually had to disable that routine. I pioneered that whole thing when those bulbs changed colors. I was all about doing all sorts of. I had a lot of situational lighting scenes for with special music too.
BDSM.
I love the routines, and we didn't really even touch on the routines. I want my Sexy Time to be something that Sammy's going to be just so happy about. Like, I want to say, hey, Google, play Sexy Time, and it launches the vacuum cleaner and vacuums the floor so the house is all nice and clean, gets the laundry machine going
with Barry White,
turns the crock pot on with the, that smooth jazz WNUA voice.
Yeah, 105.
So, Tom, you got these lights for your time with BDSM, right?
Anyway, guys, so it's been a wonderful show, and I'm thankful to all of those who are listening. This will conclude episode 5, and we will continue more on the smart home stuff as time goes on. I think there's a lot here to digest and break down. So next week they have a possible PlayStation event. There's a Samsung event. So it will probably just be covering most of that stuff. It'll probably be like little tiny sections just covering, because I mean that's a lot of tech to go over. More than likely it'll be mostly PlayStation 5. I really don't think the Note 20 is going to give that much to offer. It's like a copper color, and here's an X-ray gamma scanner on on the back of it. So
what was that one phone that came out that looked like one of those double buses in the city?
Double buses.
Have you like accordioned in the middle?
Oh, the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Supposedly they're going to announce the second generation of that too next.
One that lasts a little bit longer. I thought they were having a lot of issues with them just popping in the middle.
I'll give them credit though. At least they were trying something new in this super stale ass market.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Definitely be sure check us out on iTunes or Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff like that. Again, I'm Dom.
This
is Joe, and this is
Sam.
Okay, and Kyle, get back here, please, because I don't know how many times Sam's gonna ask for you offset. So anyway, guys, have a good one.
Take care.